is Dhivyashri, a junior correspondent at Guindy Times, interviewing as a part of the COVID Survivor series. To start off with the interview, I would like to ask you how different were the symptoms of COVID compared to those of the normal fever? And at what stage did you realize that it could be more than a normal fever?
Hey Divya, talking about the symptoms, it was obviously very different. We had extreme body aches and absolutely worst headaches. We felt like it would burst anytime. The most weird symptoms were that of loss of smell and taste. We couldn't smell the agarbattis and my mom couldn't smell the spices in the kitchen. And each person had diverse symptoms. The diagnosis was made when the fever didn't subside. It was constantly around 101 to 103, and that's when we tested.
Alright. And what rules did you have to follow to take care of yourself and the people around you?
Speaking of rules, we isolated ourselves. Isolation is important, and we wore masks inside the house. We sanitized regularly, we disinfected regularly, and my mom read an article a few days ago that a time will come when you'll have to wear mask inside the house. I didn't believe at that time, but now after experiencing, we did have to wear mask inside the house to actually save other loved ones. We had elderly in the house, so it was quite difficult. But these were the rules that we did.
Yes, caution would be our priority at this point. And also, it would take great strength, physically and mentally, to endure such difficulties. How did you find positivity amongst this chaos?
To be honest, I struggled to stay positive. There is this virus you heard in March that Wuhan is affected, there were memes all around, there was a voice warning you, and it still feels surreal that we had to experience that virus. It's a scar for a lifetime obviously, but it was especially difficult when my dad was hospitalized. More than your pain when you see your family suffering, it's just too worse and you can't be with them. It's dreadful, you lose hope, you feel guilty, there's fear, anxiety, negative thoughts. It was tough. Now, positivity, one thing that always calms me is to remember that everything in this world is temporary. Just believe in God. It was the greatest support. I just can't do anything other than praying at such times. Now that prayer, Sawa, that belief is what is most important, and it kept us going through those days. Yep, I also can't forget the support I had from my friends and family.
That is moving, because to find such positivity, it gives us hope. Thank you for that. I would also like to know how you were able to balance your work during such a tough period.
Balancing. I couldn't actually balance it so well. I would literally just turn on the classes and get lost in my own world of pain and misery. Even though I wanted to stay offline, I couldn't, as I had my assessments as well as my online classes at that time, so I had no other choice other than bearing with it. But yeah, my friends helped me a lot during that time. I'm really grateful for that. And mainly, I'm very thankful to God for helping us get through those days. Things are still not normal, but life just keeps going.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to finally endure this and come out.
Yes, Divya.
What would you tell someone if they were to contract this disease?
I would tell them to be very cautious, to isolate yourself, to save your family members. At least it will buy you some time. Also, if fever doesn't subside after a couple of days, please don't forget to go and get yourself tested. Please do that. And take medications after consulting your doctor. Also, don't forget to steam, gargle regularly, and take immunity enhancing drinks. And handy remedies help to some extent. When you realize you can't taste or smell, it might come as an absolute shock, but don't lose hope. It will end, it will come back to normal. It will take some days, but yes, it will get better. Having a support system helps a lot. Just remember that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, so just don't lose hope.
Is there any particular lesson taught you?
Lessons, Divya, there are lots. There were a lot of lessons. It made us realize the importance of family even more. No matter who you have, at the end it's you and your family that suffers the most. When my dad was hospitalized, it was mentally taxing. Being in physical pain, that's a different kind of, feeling. And when your loved one is at stake, the mental or the heartbreak you experience, it was just too much to bear. And there are some things that are completely out of our reach. It's all in God's hands. I am not an always optimistic person. I've had worst moments too. But at the end, when I look back at those dreadful situations, they taught me something. Actually, they teach us a lot about faith, about holding on, to cherish people who stood by you uh, near you during tough times, to cherish memories. This entire COVID thing has taught, I guess, all of us to cherish normal days, normal days when you go to college, you go to work, you go to shopping, no mask. Even those normal days have become such a luxury now. But now there is this virus which affects you not only physically but also mentally. You might feel so drained that everything seems hopeless, but that's where your faith, your belief plays a major role. That is what keeps you going. It multiplied my belief in God by multitudes. Alhamdulillah, but to everyone out there who's battling, everyone's fighting their own battle. I agree. Someone's battling for breath while someone's battling to make ends meet. I sympathize with all of you. More love and more power. Don't lose hope in whatever situation you are. You are amazingly strong, and very soon you'll be proud of yourself for being a warrior, a believer, and coming out of hard times with God's grace. So even though nothing's normal yet, in my home or outside, let's just not lose hope. I can't stress on that enough. So that's it.
I am so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you, and it has moved me to a great extent, and it has made me believe in a better tomorrow. And I hope that those listening also find the same amount of hope listening to. And I would like to thank you for agreeing to talk with us. And on behalf of the entire Guindy Times team, we wish you all the best. And we hope that everything gets back to normal soon for you.
Thanks,
Thank
Divya,
you.
for being an amazing friend, patiently listening. I just hope it helps someone out there. But yeah, one last thing. It's so painful to see people moving around without wearing mask or not doing social distancing. It's so hurtful. So it's not a normal flu, guys. So please take care, abide by the rules. So yes, that's one very important thing. And thanks a lot. It was my pleasure.
Yes. It cannot be stressed enough, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Divya.